Welcome to Disney's Pop Century Resort.
This is such a cool resort. There's so much to see and do here. We're going to show you around pools, recreation, food, shopping, so
let's get this adventure started.
Here we go! Let me tell you a little bit about Pop Century Resort. It's considered a value resort. It's the last one built of the value resorts. It has 2,880 rooms. It is represented in 5 decades of 20th century American pop culture. It is a Skyliner resort. It is on 177 acres. Pop Century Resort is located near Hollywood Studios and ESPN Wide World of Sports. Originally, where Art of Animation is now, it was going to be part of Pop Century. It was going to represent the 1900s to the 1940s. But then 9/11 happened and things kind of came to a halt for tourism, and so that was put on the back burner. But this side, Pop Century as we know it, represents the 1950s all the way to the 1990s. From computers to sayings to music, it's well represented here. The area between Pop Century and Art of Animation, the lake there, is called Hourglass Lake. And it's called that because it represents the time in between the decades. So that's why it's named Hourglass Lake.
We are at the front side of the resort with the lobby right behind me. Let's go inside and check it out. This is actually called Classic Hall. And when you come into the lobby, you basically have 2 things going on. On the left are the registration desks, so if you're checking in, got a question, you're gonna go over there. On the right is memorabilia from the various decades represented here at the resort. So starting here in the 50s, we've got all kinds of things like toys, household goods. Moving to the 60s, things like Play-Doh, I Dream of Jeannie,
Beach Boys.
Next up is the 70s.
Disco Mania. Look at it, what are those things, huh? What are those things? 8-track tapes. Oh, and look at above it, Sesame Street. And look at up there, most popular thing that came about in the 70s here at Disney.
Star Wars, 1977.
Dun, 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 dun.
And then moving on to the 80s.
We got Jane Fonda Workout.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Cabbage Patch Dolls. Miss Piggy.
Simon Says. And now we're in the 90s.
Oh look, the laptop. Cell phones. Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, folks, cell phones were actually that size at one point.
Oh, look at here.
Game Boy. So lots of memorabilia represented on this side of the lobby. On the other side's the registration desk. Let's go take a look at that. So here we're starting at the 90s.
These look like guests that are in the resorts, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Some of it, maybe not all of it. 80s.
Ah, there's Mickey at the Contemporary.
Oh, there's a space shuttle.
That was a quick look at the lobby. We're going to go check out another section where there's a small business center. There's a small business center here off the lobby. So if you need to print tickets or boarding pass for your airline or something like that. A little sitting area. Fuel rod station and an ATM. If you want your kids to have a comfortable area to wait in, they can wait right here. This is on the right side of the lobby when you come in. There's a television and children-friendly seating. Let's see the way these walls are decorated. It's a really nice children's area.
So in Pop Century, 5 decades are represented, and each decade has its section. And you're going to see different references to that decade, whether it's sayings or some icons. But also, you want to notice that each section, the buildings are painted differently too. So that helps you if you're wandering around and looking for your room. Here we are in the 50s section. The 50s section is the first section that's represented here at Pop Century. And you have things like Way, Way Out. I guess that's the predecessor to Far, Far Out. Huh? And you have poodle skirts and jitterbugging, and you see Lady from Lady and the Tramp. And there's also a little doghouse in the middle and Tramps on the other side there. So, you know, you're going to see records and transistor radios, which I had one of those, and bowling pins and all kind of references to the 1950s. So let's go take a look.
There's the transistor radio. Transistors actually predated the chips. For those of you who don't know, chips are actually made up of many, many transistors. More popular things. Cars were popular in the 50s. The sock hop. There's Lady from Lady and the Tramp. And there's Tramp. There is a 45, which came before the 8-track. So first we had vinyl, then we had 8-track and cassette, then we had compact disc, and now we have nothing.
So the next decade is here in the 60s. Peace, man, or today, peace, I guess. Anyway, this is a cool section. It has a lot of the references from the 60s, like Out of Sight, Far Out, Groovy, which I still say. And then it has peace signs and flowers and people dancing, and well, let's go take a look. Big wheel was a big deal in the 70s. I mean, everybody had them. My brother had one. So it's only appropriate that they would have the big wheel here in the 70s section of the resort. There's so many things in here that remind me of my childhood. Foosball. I used to play a lot of that. The Mickey telephone, always wanted one, but the cord's not long enough. Big wheel, like I said, my brother had one of those. I had mood rings, I had platform shoes. Yeah, this brings back a lot of memories. So the 70s, kind of like the 60s, kind of has two things going on. In the beginning, it's kind of related to the 60s, but in the later 70s, disco came on the scene. Oh yeah, that changed a lot. It changed the way we dressed. It changed the music, of course. It changed going to discotheques. It was a pretty wild time.
In the 70s section, they have this thing called Twister, which is a classic game. So the way you do it is you spin this thing and it tells you where to put your limbs, I guess. My left hand goes on red.
Okay, then you have to spin it again and keep your hand down on left so you can't do it.
Fun game, okay. There is a giant Mickey phone here. And I'm not kidding when I say giant. For those of you who may not be familiar with some of the things that you see around here in the 70s section, what's your handle is a Citizens Band radio term that means what are you called, or what's your nickname on Citizens Band or CB radio. Made extremely popular by movies like Smokey and the Bandit. Do you remember the 80s? Well, do you remember these? This was a Walkman, was made by Sony, and you put a, never mind. Anyways, we're in the 80s section, and there's lots of things around here that remind you of the 80s. There's Roger Rabbit. There are some catchphrases around like "to the max" and "totally awesome." And there's other things like Pac-Man, which is still around today. In fact, you can go into one of the Disney arcades and play a game of Pac-Man if you want to. Lots of cool things in this section. It does house one of the pools, so let's have a look around the 80s. I don't know if anybody remembers these Rubik's Cubes. They're an incredible source of frustration.
I remember playing with them when I was a kid.
We're in our last section, which is the 90s section. This section is characterized by things like compact disc, roller skates, the computer behind me, which was something that got very popular in the 90s. Also, there's a lot of catchphrases like whatever, surf the net. I don't know if you remember some of those catchphrases, but I do. So we'll take a look around and show you some of the things here in the 90s section. Whatever. As if. Remember that? As if.
So the main pool for Pop Century is called the Hippy Dippy Pool. And it's called the Hippy Dippy Pool because it's in the 60s section. The pool is located right behind the lobby, so it's easy to get to from all areas of the resort. The pool is, it's a nice size, and it has water jets that are shaped like flowers that, you know, you can go under there and get sprinkled. This is a life-guarded pool, and by the way, they do have life jackets available for free. So behind the Hippy Dippy Pool is the kiddie pool, and it's not very deep, and it has a lot of pop-up jets. So it's kind of like a splash pad, but it is a little pool in there. And there's plenty of seating in there, lounge chairs, umbrellas. It's cute. This is Pedal's Pool Bar. It's right by the Hippy Dippy Pool. And you can get beverages here, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. They also have a station for the resort refillable mug. And you can get water, by the way, ice cold water in a cup for free. Pedal's Pool Bar serves just a few things. And I can see from the sign over there, one says a salad, pretzel, Mickey bar. So you probably will need to check with them to see what's available for you to munch on, but the lobby's like steps away, so you can go in the food court and get something to eat there too. So now we're in the 50s section, and this is where one of the other pools that they have here on the resort is located. It's a smaller pool than the Hippy Dippy Pool, and it's shaped like a bowling pin. In fact, this whole pool area is themed around a bowling alley. They have lanes along the deck. They have an area that is the shoe storage for the bowling alley. That's where the restrooms are. And they have other bowling decor around the pool, like bowling balls, which they're fixed, and bowling pins. So it gives you the whole ambiance of being in the bowling alley, I guess, if you were swimming. Anyway, it's a nice pool.
Some of the details you see here, the rack of Brunswick bowling balls. That's not something you see at every pool. You'll notice the bowling shoes in the background. It's a ping pong table they have out here by the pool. It's a checker set by the pool. We're in the 80s section looking at our last pool, which is a computer pool. It's shaped like a floppy disk. There's a lot of cool things here, as there are with the other pool. For example, at the end of the handicap ramp, there's a printed circuit board. There's a large floppy disk in there as one of the theming items that they have. There's also cornhole, Connect 4, ping pong, so there's some recreational activities. Outside the pool area, there are bathrooms, and in the bathrooms, there are showers, so if you needed to do that, you certainly could. There's also a shower inside the pool area, so you could rinse off before you go in or after you go out. In the restroom area, there are also lockers in case you need one of those. Again, this is the computer pool, really neat. This pool is open from 10 in the morning till 10 at night. Plenty of seating here, umbrellas, tables, lounge chairs. Little ping pong. It's an unusual looking table. At least you don't have to keep fixing the net. Looks like a metal net. This cool detail, they have a printed circuit board as part of this handicapped accessible ramp. Taking a brief time out to say if you're enjoying this video and getting some good information, please hit the like button, and also please consider subscribing to our channel.
Don't forget to hit the notifications button too, because every time we post a new video, you'll be alerted and you'll be able to watch it.
And now back to the video. You have two transportation options here at the resort. Bus is one of them, and you also have the Skyliner. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But the bus goes to Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Blizzard Beach, the two water parks. Blizzard Beach is closed right now, and Disney Springs. It says ESPN here, but it generally does not go there, even though it's listed. Also, you need to be aware that if there's lightning in the area, I believe within 10 miles or so, that the Skyliner is not going to run, so that you're going to have to take the bus to Epcot and Hollywood Studios as well. But on a normal day like this, where you have beautiful weather and no lightning in the area, you're not going to come out here and grab the bus to Hollywood Studios or Epcot. That's going to be the Skyliner only. That's in the back, and the bus is right here in the front. So let's go take a look at that. There is only one bus station here. Some of the resorts have bus stations scattered around, but there is only one bus station here at this resort, and it is out front. So all your buses are here, and this is where you're going to go if you want to take the bus to the places we already mentioned. Skyliner is one of your modes of transportation here, and it takes you to the Caribbean Beach Resort. From there, you can go to either Hollywood Studios or Epcot. The Skyliner station is right behind me, and it is shared between the Pop Century Resort and Art of Animation. But it's right here outside the resort. You just walk onto this bridge, get on, you head to Caribbean Beach, and from there you pick where you want to go, Hollywood Studios or Epcot. If you're into running, there is a 1.3 mile running trail that runs around Hourglass Lake. There are a lot of signs around the running trail that have trivia from the different decades.
They have a playground here for the kids, and it's located in the 70s area. Take a look.
They have a sizable arcade here at this resort, and we're gonna go check it out. All right, so to do this, you put in your card, which I have just done. And I want to purchase $5 worth and get a new card. And there's my card. Has $5 on it. Is that bad?
This is why I drive everywhere.
I'm doing great.
The fish out here. Wow, you've hooked up a big fish. Keep reeling the fish in. A swordfish. Let's give it another shot. That's a wrap.
That's a look here at the arcade. A lot of fun games. This is a large arcade. It's a value resort. So quite a bit to see and do in here. And this was a lot of fun.
Next up on the tour is the Everything Pop Shop. Let's go take a look. So many different things in here to get, anywhere from stuffed animals to socks to t-shirts, you name it. Stuff you can use while you're here at the resort, or stuff to take home as a souvenir. So most resorts have merch specific to the resort, and Pop Century is no exception. Here we have some tumblers, flower power, totally awesome.
That's far out, man.
27. And these cute little shirts for kids. And then they have a nice adult, like a baseball tee.
That's your style.
That's right. Have a nice day. Have some ears specific to Pop Century here with the vinyl records and the flower power flowers. $35.
That's clever.
And then they have these hoodies, and the hoodies are $55.
I like that.
They're not very heavy.
Yeah, that's a nice hoodie.
So on this side, we have more snacks, food, sundries, and of course, things like mugs and photo albums and aprons and all kind of stuff. Size-wise, this is a pretty big gift shop, and it has a lot of stuff in here that you need or you want. And it also feeds right into the food court area. Very convenient.
We're at Everything Pop. This is the food court here at the resort. This is really the only place that you can get food. Outside of the pool bar, there's some snacks. But generally, this is the only place that you can get food here in the resort. And they have quite a variety. Let's go check it out. So some of your food options here, they have these pastries. They look wonderful. So they got specialty coffee here and ice cream. Coming over to our next station, there's a good variety of things like a Cuban burger, cheeseburger. They have an Impossible burger, and then other American fare type of things. Next up is going to be our grab and go section. By the way, these are resort mugs. At present, they sell for $21.99, and you can fill these up all you want during the length of your stay. So 22 bucks, you basically get all of the beverages you want. And that's good on fountain drinks, coffee, tea. Here's your grab and go. Of course, you have sodas, beer, the usual. In this section, we have some salads, things like milk, fruit, juice. And then we've got another section here with some desserts. Got some pastries, more pastries. You can grab a little cereal, you can do that. Mickey bars. And so yeah, that's the grab and go section here in the food court. So there's a Italian food section here with meatball sub, pasta, pizza, things like that. And then our last section, they have a place where you can create your own entree. You basically pick a protein and then pick a couple of different sides. I think this is what we're gonna have. This actually looks pretty good. We have a nice seating area here along the windows, and then this goes back. Here's your drink machines. Get those resort mugs filled here. We're choosing to eat a little healthier, so our choices are maybe a little less exciting. I guess. But we got some chicken with vegetables and carrots, and we also have a salad, so we're gonna dig into this. We'll let you know what it's like.
Well, that hit the spot.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's healthy too, so you can't eat healthy at Disney. You know, I noticed that all the value resorts kind of offer the same food choices.
Yeah.
So there's not like, oh, at Pop Century you're gonna get.
Right, true. But the food was good. You know, again, not the most exciting choice, but they do have a pretty good variety here, as we've already shown you. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed if you eat here at the food court.
We stayed here a while back, and it was right here in this building. We did a room tour then, so we're going to take you on that now. So over here is a coffee bar and refrigerator. They do not have microwaves. I have heard that you can request one in the lobby or call down to the guest services and they may deliver one, but I'm not 100% on that. But you do get a coffee maker and a little refrigerator. There's no freezer in there, so beware of that. There's no freezer, but they do have an ice bucket, and the ice is right down the walkway here. And in here are your supplies. Now, like Paul said, we've already been here, but they do give you regular coffee and decaf, and then what you need to make your coffee, and of course cups. And there's also a light source here, a little luggage rack. They're recycling for if you're able to do that, recycling and regular trash. Again, please pardon the floor. And then here's a dresser, but in here is your safe. And I don't know if you're familiar with Disney safes, but you can, or most hotel safes are like that. You can set your own passcode, but you should check it before you lock everything in there because you might have a problem getting it out. But here's room to put some clothing. So that's nice, and you have a Bible. And then over here, 3 drawers for clothing. And they're pretty deep. I mean, they're, you know, enough to store what's in your suitcase. Now, here's an area you can put more things. You can put your luggage rack over there if you'd like. There are hooks on the wall, so you can hang things there if you need to. We hung our ponchos there because they were soaking wet. The bed is elevated, which is nice because then you can store things underneath it, which we had to do that. We put suitcases under there. On each side of the bed, you have a little nightstand with a little cubby and a light source. You have light switches, outlets, and USB ports. So each side gets that. One of these lights controls not only above the bed, but the room as well. It's not very bright in here, but it's nice at night. The telephone. And then this desk area, if you don't know, is actually part of a Murphy bed system. So this desk will, if you can see the hinges right here, this desk will actually fold and become a base for the bed. And you pull the chairs out and then the bed comes down. And what's nice is that if you are using this as a bed, there's another cubby on the other side, again with outlets and USB ports, and you can use this little counter, and also there's storage in the cubby. I'm doing this with one hand. As you can see, the table is folding down, like a hinge, and it becomes a base for the bed. Okay, so this is the Murphy bed pulled out. It's very comfortable. We slept on it. It's great. It is a queen size, so 2 adults can sleep on it very comfortably. Now we're gonna go into the bathroom, and they have a barn door here, and actually this thing really does cut a lot of noise out, which is nice. It's very thick and heavy. So you open the barn door to get into the little area where you can use the sink, and it has storage, a lot of storage actually. I mean, we had 3 women, well, 2 girls and a woman in here, so we had a lot of products, and we had plenty of space to put things. So we have here a little closet, plenty hangers. Here we have an ironing board, and then in those cubbies right there, we have the iron and the hair dryer. So that was nice to have that. More storage, towel racks. They give you more towels than this. It's just like we said, we've been here, so you know, it's what we had left. It has a mirror right here, which is nice for makeup application or whatnot. Also, this is a night light. We use it as a night light, which is nice because this light's kind of bright. Of course, you could close the barn door, but if you turn the light on in the bathroom at night, there's a fan in here, and I think it must have a sensor on it that senses someone's in here. So here's your full-length mirror. And then we have another barn door, or sliding door, into the bathroom. So there's a sliding door on the tub, and it's a shower, and it's a nice shower. It has 2 shower heads, and we'll show you that in a second. Plenty of space to hang towels. There's a large shower head, and then you have a handheld, which was really nice. There's plenty bright in here too. And then on the wall opposite, you have a shelf if you have your own products to use. And then of course, the wonderful Disney H2O products. And this bathtub shower has a sliding door, which is nice. It's very smooth. It's all done very nicely, very nicely.
So that completes our Pop Century Resort and room tour.
I hope you enjoyed walking through all the different decades here with us. It was fun looking at all the different icons and the different Disney characters that were represented from the movies in that specific decade. Looking at those refreshing pools, getting a good bite to eat, maybe even playing a fun game in the arcade.
It was like a journey back in time. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and please join us on our next magic adventure.
Bye.